She was turned away due to her skin color. Then an incredible secret was revealed about him. Laura wiped down the counter at Roy's diner, the familiar smell of coffee mixing with the sweet scent of cinnamon rolls wafting from the kitchen. The chatter of regulars filled the room, creating a warm hum of life, but today felt different. "Did you hear about the promotion?" Betty whispered, her brow furrowed. The others leaned closer, their voices lowered to gossip about Laura. "They're not giving it to her. Not with her, well, you know." Laura's chest tightened. She bit her lip, forcing herself to breathe. She had worked for 3 years, pouring her heart into this place while juggling her shifts and caring for 6-year-old Mia. She dreamed of more than waitressing, a life where her daughter didn't have to face the world with her head down. As the news of her denied promotion spread like wildfire, the diner transformed from a comforting retreat into a battleground. Patrons rallied for Laura, their raised voices filled with new questions about fairness and respect. Everyone began to see the injustice simmering beneath the surface of their close-knit community. "It's not right," shouted Jim, a longtime customer, slamming his fist on the table. "We can't just stand by." Among them sat Mark, the diner's owner, whose face paled as he processed the accounts of Prejudice. A war veteran famed for his integrity, he had never thought his privilege came with strings. He felt their eyes on him, searching for support, but he was frozen in his chair. In that whirlwind of emotion, Laura confided in her regulars, who became her lifelines. Her laughter would burst forth like a defiant spark, but within, she felt echoes of pain. As they talked, concocting plans to uplift her, Laura's thoughts drifted to the music festival on the horizon, a chance for everyone to come together. But would they? Would she? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Laura listened to challenges about overcoming, a startling realization struck. Mark had a family secret, an ancestry that could unravel the very foundation of his privilege. Beneath his hard facade, could there be stories of struggle and hurt? Questions flooded Laura's heart, igniting a flicker of hope. The thought sparked something within her, igniting a desire to address the division in Lincoln Springs. With each day leading to the festival, tensions escalated to a breaking point. What would happen when they faced each other publicly, him in his position of power and her, driven by the many voices behind her? Laura saw that she could be the beacon of change for both herself and others who had silently suffered. As vibrant festival decorations adorned the diner, Laura stood before a mirror rehearsing her future words that might finally push the community to confront their deep-seated prejudices. Would Mark step into the light, or would he shut down in fear? It all came down to that moment at the festival when they would each have to decide. The music started, hearts raced, adrenaline surged. Would this gathering unleash their fears or their hopes? Laura felt the weight of her dreams hanging in the air, ready to explode into action. Would they fight for a new beginning? Or retreat back into silence? The day of the festival dawned bright and clear, the sun casting golden rays over Lincoln Springs. The entire town seemed to buzz with excitement, a palpable energy flowing through the streets. Colorful banners flapped in the light breeze, music spilled from speakers, and laughter intertwined with the scent of grilled burgers and fried dough. Laura stood at the diner's entrance, clutching Mia's hand, her heart thundering in her chest. Around them, families gathered, and friends reunited, but an invisible weight anchored her feet. Today wasn't just a festival, it was a step toward something bigger. "Mommy, can we go see the rides?" Mia twirled, her pigtails bouncing, laughter bubbling from her like a pure fountain. Laura's smile brightened, softening her anxiety, if only for a moment. "Sure, just let me." She hesitated, turning to scan the crowded street. Her gaze fell on Mark, standing at the diner's entrance, looking lost amidst the chaos. He was shaking hands, exchanging pleasantries with patrons, each handshake lowering the volume of the chatter, revealing an unfamiliar silence. His usual demeanor of confidence cracked like glass under pressure. Laura hadn't seen him since that fateful day when the gossip had erupted, turning their once safe haven into a place of tension. Would he finally acknowledge what was happening? Would he stand up for her? Those questions roiled within her, battling her growing reluctance to confront him. She gathered her resolve and began walking toward him, Mia skipping happily ahead. But as they approached, Laura's heart sank. Mark's expression faltered as he caught sight of her. A flicker of recognition quickly faded, replaced by something more complex: fear? Guilt? She couldn't tell. "Laura," he said, his voice shaky, as if unsure of what to say next. "Mark," she replied, holding her chin high despite the whirlwind inside her. "We need to talk." He sighed, glancing around nervously before lowering his voice. "I know. But not here." "Why not?" This is where it all started. This is where we can change things," Laura insisted, her voice rising with her passion. Mark swallowed hard, looking at the crowd. "It's complicated," he murmured. "Complicated? You mean uncomfortable?" Laura felt the heat in her cheeks, but she pushed on. "You have the power to make things right. Stop hiding behind the facade." Their eyes locked. His bore a shadow of pain, mixed with a fierce determination she hadn't seen before. "You don't know what you're asking of me." "No, but I know what you've done. You've seen the unfairness, and you've been silent. What happens today might define us all. It might define you." Mia tugged at Laura's hand, her innocent voice cutting through the thick tension between the two adults. "Mommy, can we go on the Ferris wheel?" Laura nodded slowly, the question running deeper than a simple ride. The Ferris wheel loomed in the distance, and for a moment, it seemed to symbolize the heights they could reach if they chose courage over fear. Mark looked at Mia, and Laura could see the gears turning in his mind. "Look, let us talk. I have something to tell you." Her heart raced. "What is it, Mark?" As anticipation hung heavy in the air, he leaned closer. "It's about my family and my past." Before he could reveal anything more, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd, pulling attention away from them. Laura's stomach twisted, torn between the excitement of the festival and the weight of the moment before her. "What if I never get another chance to say what's in my heart?" she thought, her breath quickening. "Meet me at the gazebo after the parade," he said urgently. "I'll explain everything." Laura nodded, feeling a mix of hope and fear. Would tonight be the beginning of change or just another day of unspoken words? As Mia tugged her toward the rides, Laura's mind swirled. The festival continued in its joyful chaos, but for Laura, the real battle lay ahead. Would Mark find the bravery to confront his family's past? Would truth finally spark a change in Lincoln Springs? With emotions swirling, she glanced over her shoulder, watching Mark fade into the crowd. The moment of truth was coming and Laura was ready, but would he be? The parade began shortly after, ribbons and confetti swirling above the streets like fleeting dreams. Laura and Mia stood at the curb, beaming as floats rolled by, each adorned with colorful flowers and smiling faces. Mia clapped her hands in delight, eyes sparkling like the bright summer sky. But Laura felt a tight knot in her stomach, a reminder of the conversation she was yet to have with Mark. As the procession reached its peak, townsfolk waved proudly at the passing floats. Yet, amid the laughter and cheers, Laura felt a weight that wouldn't lift. The memory of their last encounter haunted her, pulling her back to that moment when Mark had looked at her with an expression she couldn't decipher. "Can we get cotton candy, Mommy?" Mia's voice broke through, a sweet innocence that brought a fleeting smile to Laura's face. She nodded, squeezing her daughter's hand. Okay, let us grab some. They made their way through the crowd, voices blending into a hum of excitement. Laura tried to focus on the sweet floral scent of the festival, the vibrant colors swirling around her, but her mind drifted back to the gazebo. Time was ticking down, and the thought of Mark's revelation churned her insides. Do you think you'll ride the Ferris wheel with me later? Mia asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. Of course, sweet pea, Laura replied, forcing a smile. She knelt down to meet her daughter's gaze. It'll be just the two of us, high above everything. It'll be fun. Just like in the movies. Mia beamed, her joy pulling some of Laura's tension away, if only for a moment. But as they finally reached the cotton candy stand, the sight of Mark approaching made her heart race. He stood a little apart from the crowd, wearing a look of determination that caught her by surprise. This was it. The air around them seemed to crackle with unspoken words. Laura, he said, just above a whisper as he came close. I've been thinking about everything we've avoided. She felt her breath catch, emotions swirling before her. And? Mark glanced around, ensuring that Mia was momentarily distracted by the pink clouds of spun sugar. My family may not be who you think they are. The rumors they're only half the truth. Laura's heart pounded louder now, anticipation clawing at her throat. What do you mean? I can't explain everything here, he said urgently. But, if you trust me, can you meet me at the gazebo after the parade? There's something you need to know about me, about my past and my family's role in all of this. Her stomach churned and her chest tightened. Trust had become a fragile thing between them, but if there was any chance that today could shift the balance of everything, she had to take it. I'll be there, she promised, trying to steady her voice. Good, he said, a hint of relief washing over his features, but it was mixed with fear. She noticed the way he glanced over at Mia, who was now happily dancing with a handful of cotton candy, innocence personified. I never wanted to hurt you. Laura took a deep breath, the world around her fading momentarily. I know. But we can't keep living in the shadows. Mark nodded, the shadow of doubt still lingering in his eyes. After I tell you everything, you'll understand. Laura didn't reply, feeling 1,000 thoughts vie for dominance in her mind. Instead, she focused on Mia, who was now spinning in circles, laughter spilling from her lips. This festival seemed to hold the promise of change, yet it was also a ticking clock leading them to a conversation that could either mend or break everything. As the parade ended with a dazzling burst of fireworks, illuminating the sky, Laura gave Mark a final look. His expression was grave, but in that shared glance, there was a flicker of hope. With the crowd's joyful cheers echoing around her, she let her heart guide her. Would the truth be what they needed to move forward? Or would it unravel the thin thread holding them together? The gazebo beckoned. Laura had never felt such urgency. What awaited her in the shadows of that meeting? As the last of the fireworks faded into the star-speckled sky, Laura felt a chill run down her spine. The warmth of the festival evaporated as she turned away from the lingering bursts of color to focus on the most daunting part of her day. Hand in hand with Mia, she walked through the back paths of the festival, the laughter of families ringing in her ears. Each step felt heavier, as though the earth itself bore witness to the tumultuous conversation that lay ahead. Mia chatted excitedly about the candy-coated clouds and the Ferris wheel, but Laura could barely respond. Her mind was consumed by thoughts of Mark and what truths he had kept hidden. They reached the gazebo, a structure draped in lights that twinkled like promises yet to be fulfilled. For a moment, Laura hesitated, the past swirling in her head. What if his secrets were too great? What if they changed everything? Mia, oblivious to the tension, skipped ahead, her laughter echoing off the wooden beams. The innocence of her daughter brought a fleeting comfort to Laura's racing heart. I'll get on the wheel with you, she called, glancing back over her shoulder with an expectant smile. Just wait right there, honey. I'll be right with you, Laura called, forcing on a cheerful tone. The gazebo was empty, the laughter of the festival fading into a whisper. The weight of 100 what-ifs pushed down on her. Moments later, she heard Mark's footsteps approach, their familiar sound both calming and nerve-wracking. He emerged from the shadows, his face serious but softened by the glow of the lights. The tension radiated between them, an electric charge that made Laura's heart race. "Thank you for coming," Mark said, the words hanging heavy in the air. Laura took a step closer, needing to bridge the distance that felt like an ocean between them. "Just tell me what is going on. It's been too long. You owe me that much." Mark's eyes flickered with uncertainty. "I didn't want you to find out this way. But if I don't explain now, you might never understand my world and my family." "What about your family?" she pressed, her pulse quickening. He inhaled deeply, steeling himself. "You've heard the rumors, right? About my father? They're true, but there's more things he's done, things we've done." Laura's stomach twisted at the implication. "What do you mean?" Mark hesitated, the weight of his next words bearing down on him. "I was involved in some of those rumors about illegal activities. Our family used that industry as a cover for something darker, something I didn't want to be part of." Shock coursed through her, a tumult of confusion and betrayal swirling in her chest. "Why didn't you say anything? You let me fall for a lie." His gaze dropped, the look of shame pouring from him. "I didn't want you to carry the weight of my past, my mistakes. But I can't let you keep thinking I'm something I'm not. The truth will come out and I can't let it destroy us." Mia's voice broke through their heavy silence as she called from the base of the gazebo. "Mommy! Are you coming? I want to ride the Ferris wheel." Laura turned towards her daughter, who was still blissfully unaware of the storm brewing in the air. The love she felt for Mia surged through her, shifting her focus. "Mark," suddenly, his voice softened. "I just want to protect you. I don't want your life, or Mia's, to be affected by what my family has done." The tension hung in the air, and Laura felt tears prick her eyes. Could she accept his past? Could she weave their futures together despite it? "Mark, I need time," she whispered, searching his eyes for a sign of hope. "I understand," he said, his face closing off, the battle within him evident. "But I can't keep this from you forever." As they stood there, the reality of their lives threatening to pull them apart, she inhaled sharply, feeling her heart push against her ribs. Could they truly move forward? Would they be able to face the whispers of the past, or would it tear them and their small family apart? The urgency of their situation closed around them like a vice, and just as she opened her mouth to respond, her phone buzzed in her pocket. The message flashed on the screen, a sharp intruder of reality: "We need to talk. It's about the family." Laura's pulse quickened. What now? What other secrets awaited her in the shadows? Laura's heart raced as she stared at the message. The words seemed to pulse on her screen, reverberating through her mind. "We need to talk. It's about the family." Those simple words carried a storm of implications. She felt a knot tightening in her stomach, all too aware that whatever this was, it couldn't be good. She glanced at Mark, whose expression had shifted from uncertainty to concern. A sense of urgency filled the air, thick and suffocating. "I didn't mean to pressure you," he started, but Laura's interruption came almost instinctively. "I need to take this," she blurted, her voice barely a whisper. Mark nodded, though worry clouded his features. She stepped a few paces away, trying to separate herself from the chaos of her emotions and the situation at hand. She clicked on the message, her breath catching when she saw it was from Rick, a family friend who had always been involved in the family business. In their small town, his name often hovered in the shadows, whispered through clenched teeth. Her fingers trembled as she typed back quickly. "What about the family?" The response came almost immediately. "Meet me at the old diner. It's urgent." Laura's mind raced. The diner was a relic of the past, a place where the town's secrets festered alongside the grease on the grills. It felt like a trap, but curiosity and dread pulled her in equal measure. She felt the heat of Mark's gaze on her back, and turned to face him. "I need to go," she said, her tone lacking the calm she wished to convey. "There's something I have to handle." "Laura, wait," he stepped closer, taking her hand, his touch grounding her even as it sent her heart scrambling. "I want to be part of this. If it's about my family, then I should be there. You shouldn't do this alone." She searched his eyes, weighing the turmoil of her affection for him against the storm thickening in the air. Could she really let him step deeper into the chaos of his family's past? But then again, how could she face it alone? "Okay," she said finally, the word feeling heavy as it fell from her lips. "But we need to keep focused. We can't let them know we're coming." Mia's voice called again from the gazebo, impatient and cheerful. "Mom. I'm waiting." Laura forced a smile, though inside, anxiety twisted her stomach. "We'll be there in a minute, honey." Mark nodded towards the bustling festival behind them, the lights and laughter a stark contrast to the shadows creeping into their lives. "Let us get this over with," he said, determination solidifying his tone. They walked hand in hand, each step pulling them deeper into the unknown. As they neared the diner, the scent of stale coffee and fried food enveloped them, a nostalgic reminder of simpler times. But the air was laced with something darker now, an oppressive tension that clawed at the back of her mind. They entered the diner together, the bell above the door jingling as they stepped into the dim light. The booth where Rick sat was tucked in a corner, shrouded in shadows that mirrored the secrets they were about to uncover. He looked up, a sheen of sweat on his brow, glancing nervously at the door as though he expected trouble to follow. "You came," he said, his voice low. "Tell me what this is about," Laura urged, her heart pounding. But as the words left her lips, a figure emerged from the darkness behind Rick, and Laura froze. It was someone she never expected to see, and their presence sent a jolt of fear down her spine. "Mom," Mia called again from the entrance, illuminating the diner briefly before the door swung shut behind her. Laura felt her world tilt on its axis. Who was this unexpected visitor, and how did they fit into the tangled web of secrets that seemed to threaten everything she held dear? As whispers filled the space, Laura realized they were standing on the edge of revelation, teetering amidst a storm of hidden truths. Would facing them finally unravel the mystery or thrust them deeper into chaos? Laura braced herself, knowing the answers could change everything. But before she could voice her questions, a tense silence enveloped the diner, leaving her mind racing with possibilities and dread. What would come next? And could they weather this storm? Laura's breath caught in her throat as she recognized the silhouette that had stepped from the shadows. It was Lisa, her estranged sister. The one person she thought she'd never have to face again. The years of silence hung heavy in the air, as if echoing the choices that had driven them apart. Lisa, Laura finally managed, the name tasting foreign on her lips. The emotions swelled in her chest: anger, confusion, guilt. It threatened to push her over the edge. "Laura," Lisa replied, her voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of tension. "I didn't expect to see you here." Mark's grip tightened around Laura's hand, and she could feel the heat radiating from his skin. He exchanged quick glances with Rick, who sat frozen in his booth. The diner that once held nostalgic memories now felt like a stage for a long-overdue reckoning. "We need to talk," Laura said. The words came out harsher than intended, her frustration boiling over. "You can't just drop back into our lives without explanation, especially now." "I know, and I'm sorry," Lisa said, the sincerity in her tone contrasting sharply with Laura's anger. "But it's important. There are things you don't understand. Things about Mom, about the family." Laura's heart raced. Hadn't they spent their childhood trying to escape the very shadows Lisa brought back? Yet the resolute look on her sister's face demanded attention. Mia's in the car, Laura said, glancing at the door, nerves creeping into her thoughts. She doesn't know anything. And if this is about family secrets, I want to protect her. Maybe it's time Mia learned the truth, Lisa urged, her eyes darting momentarily to where their daughter had been waiting outside. You think shielding her protects her? Look around. This family is built on secrets and lies. It's time to break that cycle. Mark gently squeezed Laura's hand, his presence reminding her of why they were here. It was supposed to be a resolution, a way to confront the past for the sake of their little girl. But as she stood, shaken by Lisa's return, she felt uncertain, trapped between protecting Mia and the need for honesty. It's not just our past, Laura said, trying to keep her voice steady. What about the damage it does to Mia? Maybe knowing will help her avoid making the same mistakes we did, Lisa countered, her voice rising slightly. How can she have a future if she inherits our family's past? If you bury this, it will just come back to haunt her when she is older. Believe me, I learned that the hard way. The urgency in Lisa's words struck a chord with Laura, igniting the unspoken fears that had been gnawing at her. She thought of all the unaddressed whispers and rumors swirling around their family, all the times she had tried to protect Mia from the darkness but hardly addressed it herself. But what is the truth you want to share? Laura asked, her voice wavering though she fought it back. Lisa took a deep breath, her gaze unwavering. It's about Mom. And Rick, he's involved more than you realize. Mark shot an incredulous glance at Rick, who remained silent, his expression unreadable. Something shifted in the air, thickening with meaning as every word hung between them, suffocating yet somehow also liberating. Laura realized she could feel the pull of her family pulling her back into their orbit, creating confusion and fear of what lay ahead. Laura, Mark said softly, a hint of resolve in his voice, whatever happens next, we'll do it together. As Laura's gaze settled on Lisa, 1,000 possibilities surged in her mind. The veil of the past was starting to lift, but at what cost? What hidden truths still awaited her and her family? And before they could delve deeper, the door swung open again, sending a chill through the diner, a new presence entering. Is everyone okay in here? A voice called out, disrupting the charged atmosphere. Laura's heart dropped. Who else could this be? What more could she possibly handle? The newcomer stepped into the diner, and the flickering neon lights bounced off her dark skin, illuminating the tension that already hung in the air. Laura squinted, trying to place her, but a wave of recognition surged through her. It was Sarah, an old friend from childhood, an unexpected but welcome sight in the midst of this unraveling family drama. Sarah? Laura exclaimed, disbelief mingling with relief. What are you doing here? Sarah wheeled around, a toothy smile breaking across her face, but it quickly faded as the atmosphere attacked her with its heaviness. I came to. Is everything all right? She interrupted herself, her eyes darting between Laura, Mark, Lisa, and Rick. The sense of unease rippled around the booth, pulling Sarah into its depths. Not really, Laura admitted, feeling a sudden pang of guilt. She didn't want to unload the weight on Sarah, who had come looking for joy. But I think we're about to find out. Find out what? Sarah frowned, crossing her arms as Lisa stepped forward. Family matters, Laura said flatly, wishing she could keep the truth at bay for just a little longer. Before Lisa could elaborate, Rick broke his silence, his voice low and cautious. Does it have to do with Dad? Laura's pulse quickened at the mention of their father. The last time they spoke of him, it had ended in shouting and heartbreak. Memories of his disappointment and the hollow look in his eyes when he disapproved of their life choices wrapped around her like a chokehold. It has everything to do with him, Lisa replied, her tone unwavering. And it's not just the past, it's about what he wanted and why he left us with all these lies. Lies? Sarah echoed, her voice shaking slightly as she stepped further into the diner. What do you mean? Rick squirmed a bit in his seat. You remember the stories about the family business? The ones about how Granddad started it from nothing? Yeah, what about it? Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued. She looked at Laura expectantly as if Laura held the key to unlock a door that had long been shut. He didn't start it from nothing, Lisa said, her eyes darting around the diner as if sensing unseen ears eavesdropping on their conversation. There were dealings that we never knew about. Deceptions that followed us. And they involved Rick in ways that none of us understand yet. Laura watched as Rick clenched his jaw, a storm brewing behind his eyes. Did he even know? Moments like these felt like they held more mystery and potential heartbreak than anything in their shared history. Rick? Sarah turned sharply. What's your connection to this? His expression hardened, the vulnerability vanishing beneath a facade of indifference. It's complicated, he said. Let us focus on what Lisa wants to say. We don't have time for distractions. Laura could feel her stomach churn. What's so important that we're risking everything for, Lisa? Lisa hesitated, her expression a mixture of resolve and doubt. If we don't confront it now, we'll lose the chance forever. Lose what? Mark added, frustration creeping into his tone. Our sanity? Laura could almost feel the pressure of old wounds beginning to throb under the strain of these confessions. Everyone was here, raw emotions laid bare, ready to either bind them closer or tear them apart. How do you know Rick was involved? Laura pushed her, desperation coating the question. I saw the documents, Lisa exclaimed. The ones Mom tried to hide in the attic. They explain everything: our family, our father, and what really happened that night. Laura's heart raced, memories flooding back: hushed conversations, stolen glances, the dread that hung thick when they visited their childhood home. What night? Sarah dared to ask, her eyes wide and fearful. Laura felt the air thicken again. It was clear no one was ready for what might spill out next. The shadows of the past threatened to engulf them, and with each breath, a deeper understanding settled within her. Was uncovering these truths worth opening old wounds? Could they really handle one more revelation when the ones already laid bare felt too heavy to bear? As silence enveloped the diner, electric with anticipation, Laura inhaled deeply, her heart a wild drum beating in her chest. What secrets still lay buried, waiting to be unearthed, hidden just beneath the surface? The diner was eerily quiet, the hum of the neon sign the only sound as they all waited for Lisa to speak. Laura could feel the weight of everyone's eyes on her, the pressure mounting like an incoming storm. Sarah's presence felt both comforting and complicating. She was an anchor from a simpler time, and yet here they were, facing a storm that could toss them all into the unknown. Look, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here, Lisa's voice broke through the silence, steadier than before. What we've been living are just shadows of the truth. And it's time to stop being afraid. Afraid? Rick spat, his anger flaring. You think you're the only one scared here? We're talking about our lives, Lisa. Fine. Then let us talk about our lives, Lisa shot back, her voice rising. And let us start with what really happened that night, the night Mom and Dad fought. The night Dad left. Everything started there. Laura's breath hitched. The night had been etched into her mind like a scar. She remembered how the very walls of their home had seemed to tremble under their father's shouts. It was all a jumbled mess of fire and fear, and the hollow echo of why had chased her even into adulthood. Did he tell you? Mark asked, the softness in his tone betraying his frustration. Did he ever actually say something about it? No, he didn't say a word. But this is about more than just him. It's about our family's foundation crumbling because of secrets and connections. Lisa locked eyes with Rick, her expression carrying a weight of unresolved tension. There are names in those documents, individuals who tied our family to don't. Rick snapped, panic flickering across his face. He looked like he was ready to bolt from the booth, as if he could outrun the implications of her words. Laura's heart pounded. What names, Rick? What does this involve? Her voice shook, and she regretted her eagerness as she watched Rick scramble, his composure fraying. They're not important. He shot back defensively. But his eyes betrayed him, they flickered with fear and maybe even guilt. Not important? Sarah interjected, her brow knitted with confusion. This isn't just about you, it's about all of us. If there are connections that could explain why your family is so messed up, then I think we deserve to know. Mark leaned in slightly. Look, Lisa, he said, his voice lowering, if those documents have anything to do with why Dad left, it's too big to ignore. We can't tiptoe around it just because it's uncomfortable. Uncomfortable doesn't begin to describe it, Laura whispered, her hands trembling as she gripped the table. She was so tired of the secrets. But still, what if the truth was far worse than they imagined? Fine, I'll just tell you what I saw, Lisa finally conceded, her reluctance evident. Remember the night of that gala? 4 years ago? I found Dad arguing with someone in the parking lot, someone powerful, someone who could ruin us. They were discussing debts, shady deals, all wrapped in threats about keeping the family business afloat. A collective gasp escaped from Sarah, and Laura could feel every breath hanging in the air, charged with revelation. And what if, Lisa continued, her voice trembling with urgency, what if he left us because he had no choice? He was trapped in something much larger than any of us realized. Rick looked stricken, guilt washing over him like a wave. I didn't know, he stammered, glancing from Laura to Lisa. If I had, then what? Laura interrupted, frustration boiling over. What would you have done, Rick? The truth could have saved us. Yet here we are, floating in the empty spaces of our father's sins. Tension crackled in the air. Each realization felt like a thread pulling tighter, desperate to unravel the web they were entangled in. What else is hidden? Sarah's whisper cut through the chaos, fear etched deeply on her face. What other secrets are waiting to destroy us? Laura felt the ground beneath her shift. This wasn't just about their father, it was about survival. If we're going to face this together, we need to dig deeper. We either face what's buried, or we risk being buried ourselves. Just as things seemed poised to explode, the door swung open, a chill breeze sweeping through the diner. In walked a man Laura didn't recognize, tall with sharp features, a presence that commanded attention. She caught a glimpse of concern in his eyes, maybe more. Was he another piece of this puzzle? And just like that, the weight of the evening loomed larger. What more lay beneath the surface? The stranger's entrance sent a ripple of surprise through the diner, as if the tension in the air suddenly solidified. The fluorescent lights flickered momentarily, and for a second, Laura thought it might be some cliché twist. But he wasn't just any passerby, there was a deliberate calmness about him. His eyes swept across the booth, landing on each of them briefly before settling on Rick. Rick, he said, his voice low but steady, almost reassuring. We need to talk. Rick's face drained of color. Who are you? He managed, straightening up as though trying to reclaim some semblance of control. His bravado appeared like a cracked mirror, unsteady and vulnerable. Someone who knows more than you think I do, the man replied. He took a step closer, a confident dominance that sent chills down Laura's spine. I'm here to help, but you have to trust me. Help with what? Mark's skepticism was palpable. The diner, now caught in a breathless hush, felt like a stage set for an impending revelation. I know about the documents Lisa found, he said, his gaze unwavering. And I know about the deals your father was wrapped up in. Laura glanced at Lisa, whose expression had morphed from determination to sheer disbelief. How do you know about those? She demanded, her voice rising. Because I was part of it, he said simply. There are people watching your family, Rick. You put yourself in danger by not confronting the truth. If your father left because he was trying to protect you, it didn't work. A painful silence hung between them. Each word echoed like a gavel striking the wood in a courtroom drama. Laura's heart raced. Everything they held onto in this cramped booth was unraveling, as if they were mere actors in a script written by someone else. Why should we believe you? What do you want from us? Rick shot back, his defensiveness sharpening. I don't want anything, the man replied. But if you care about your family, you need to face what your father ran from. The threats are still out there. You can't pretend this is over. What sort of threats? Sarah's voice trembled, fear prompting her question. He ran a hand through his hair and looked down, as if mulling over the best way to explain something far too complicated. There are individuals who benefit from keeping quiet. From secrets. Your father's disappearance wasn't just about debt, it was about something far beyond. It's about power, and unfortunately, it wants to gobble you all up. Laura felt an intensity gripping her heart. Was this man a part of the very problem they were trying to uncover? Or was he somehow a key to solving it? Her mind raced in circles. Do you know who these people are? Mark urged, the urgency of his question clear. Enough to know you need protection, and right now, time is running out. The man's tone shifted, becoming grave. I wouldn't be here if it didn't affect more than just your family. What do you mean? Rick's voice faltered, suddenly devoid of its earlier bravado. Your father wasn't the only one caught up in this mess. There are links connections that could mean danger for all of you, he elaborated, stepping closer, almost lowering his voice to share this dark secret meant only for them. Your father had more enemies than he realized, and some of them are closer than you think. A chill ran through Laura's bones as she exchanged glances with Sarah, and even Rick's bluster faded into quiet concern. Everyone felt it, the weight of the unknown pressing heavily on their shoulders. Why now? Laura blurted out, desperation creeping into her voice. Why wait until now to tell us? His gaze flickered back to Rick, the vulnerability in his eyes palpable. Because the longer you wait, the more you lose. We don't have much time. The news pressed against them like a physical barrier. Laura could almost taste the fear mingled with a strange, stubborn determination. With resolve building inside her, she took a breath. What do we need to do? We can't run from this anymore. But before he could respond, a phone vibrated violently against the table, jolting everyone back into the room. Laura's heart sank when she saw Rick's face pale. That can't be, he whispered, glancing at the screen. Who is it? Sarah asked, panic rising anew. Rick hesitated, and then picked up the phone, his expression shifting rapidly from shock to dread. You need to answer that, the stranger pressed, the urgency climbing like a wildfire. As Rick hesitated, the weight of what they were about to uncover closed in around them, promising devastating truths and choices that could seal their fates. What awaited them on the other end of the line? Rick's hands trembled as he lifted the phone to his ear. The urgency in the room amplified, filling the air with unspoken dread. Hello? He said, his voice barely above a whisper. Rick, the voice on the other end crackled, weighed down with a thick tension. It's time. You know what's at stake. Meet us at the old mill tonight. Laura felt her heart drop. The old mill? The memory of the place sent shivers down her spine. It was a relic of their childhood, looming over their community like a forgotten ghost. But it wasn't just a backdrop, it was tainted with the past, a place where shadows danced with secrets too heavy to shoulder. Who is this? Rick demanded, his voice suddenly gaining strength. You think you can just call me like this? Stop playing games, the voice snapped. You need to come. Or your family will pay the price. The silence that followed hung heavy and suffocating, each person contorting under the weight of fear. Every breath felt like a step closer to a confrontation they had been wrestling to avoid for too long. What do they want? Laura's voice broke through, desperation mingling with confusion. "What does this have to do with us?" "They've been watching since Dad left," Rick said, the urgency in his voice rising again. "Everything is connected." I didn't want to believe it, but he trailed off, his gaze darting around the diner, as if searching for an escape. Mark stepped closer, his hand finding Laura's again, grounding her amidst the swirling chaos. "We can't run, Rick. If they have something on our family, we need to confront it head-on." "But we don't even know what we're up against," Sarah said, her voice trembling. Panic flashed across her face. "No, but that's the point," the stranger interjected, his voice firm. "You don't have to face this alone. But you need to make a choice. Either you hide or you fight." Laura's heart raced at the gravity of the moment. Could they really step into the den of their family's mysteries? "What time do we have?" she asked, determination hardening her resolve. "Meet me there at midnight. The shadows hold what you seek, and time is running low." With that, the line went dead. Rick stood frozen, his phone falling limp at his side. "We actually have to do this," he said slowly as fear washed over him. "It's not just about me anymore. It's about all of us." The truth settled over them like a thick fog. Laura squeezed Mia's hand tightly, drawing comfort from her daughter's innocent presence. "Then we go," she said, her voice unwavering, betraying none of the turmoil raging inside her. "Together." Lisa's eyes locked onto Laura's. "We're not always going to agree, but we have to stick together for Mia. For our family. Even if it's scary." Mia's innocent question cut through the tension like a knife, illuminating their uncertainty. Laura knelt beside her, pulling her into a warm embrace. "Yes, even then. Because sometimes, facing our fears is the only way to truly be free." Mark stepped forward, determination etched in his features. "Whatever happens, I'm with you. We'll figure this out. Together." The weight of their choice anchored them, but it also ignited a fiery resolve. With newfound purpose, they exchanged glances, forming an unspoken pact. They couldn't afford to let the past dictate their future. As they exited the diner, the festival lights twinkling overhead became a distant memory. The night felt alive, shadows mingling with the light. The way ahead was perilous, but it was theirs to face united. They approached the old mill, the air thick with anticipation and uncertainty. As they stepped closer, the wind whispered the secrets of their past, those echoes made them shiver. But they would break the chain of silence ready to spill out the darkness hidden in their lives. Laura raised her chin, staring into the dim light spilling from within the mill. "Let us face this together," she said firmly. And with that, they crossed the threshold together, ready to confront the truth about their family and unearth the secrets that had haunted them. The promise of a new beginning shimmered in the air as they stepped into the unknown, hearts pounding but full of courage. They had faced their fears, and now they were prepared to change their story. As they entered the mill, Laura felt a resurgence of hope, her heart beating as one with those she had journeyed with. They would reclaim their lives, rewrite their narrative, and light up the dark corners of their past. Everything would be different from then on. The time had come to unmask the shadows, ignite change, and, at last, emerge into the light. This was their moment. And this is where the future truly begins. Forget the past and fight for what matters most. Now, what are you going to do? You need to subscribe now. Don't miss out on more exclusive stories that will move and inspire you. Leave a like now to show your support and help us reach those who need this message. Comment below and share your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Join us in this incredible journey towards change.